I'd like to call on Mr. Shegun, okay, to the microphone to take us to the next presentation, which is going to be the last one for today. A round of applause, please. Keep clapping. Keep clapping. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Shegoke is my very good friend, well educated. He's a graduate. So I have to bring him from Lagos to come and interact with us. Please, I want you to wait patiently. This is the last paper, which is going to last for 45 minutes before we go. Tomorrow there are going to be about 3 sessions. And on Saturday, Mr. Governor and Erelu will speak to us. So I want us to be more attentive, not to be in a hurry. And have you been served lunch? Yes or no? Please wait for your transport money before you go. God bless you. Mr. Shegun, you are welcome to Ekiti State again.
Thank you so much, sir. Please, can we give a round of applause to the Honorable Commissioner? We celebrate you, sir. I tried to prepare for this in hope that this will be a job interview. You know, when the Honorable Commissioner calls you to do something, you don't know whether he's sending you to United Nations, so you have to do so well. So if I chose too much seriousness, it's because I want to get the job to United Nations. But I'm also held back by the need to speak to my people because of my passion to see that before I die, if it's just one place in the surface of the black nation, something great emerge, that we can kill this poverty for once, where the black man can stand and point to a working community where things work, and we can say, we, the youth, did it. So many people might have spoken to you, maybe whole elderly people, professors. I am not one. So I do not have the burden of some academic. I do not have one. I'm lucky to have been to London School of Economics. I'm lucky to have been to MIT. I've been to HEC in Paris, Shanghai University in China. I'm a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Accountants and some other small stuffs. But I will never forget the days I spent in the rice farm for 2-3 weeks working to hand the rice we are going to take home for Christmas or sell in order to buy school uniform or shoe. They were great moments. And they remind me humbly of where we started from and where we are going. So, in spite of the challenges we go through, I'm a die-hard believer in the Ekiti vision. I believe in the promise of the prosperity of Ekiti. I know this is not just a mere geographical expression. No, a population of 3 million people is not just some state among the states of the Federation. We're an economic force. We're an economic power. We can shape the fortune of the black nation. This place can be the center of innovation that everybody come to and point to tomorrow. If only you two will say it's possible. Did I hear it's possible? I didn't hear that clearly. Thank you. In 2015, I got admission to a global MBA that took me around like 5-6 universities across the globe. As I was about going, tragedy of life struck. I lost my sight. I couldn't even hear clearly. Then I needed to raise $200,000. It was so tough. Well, somehow I was able to raise that money. And I got to school. The school wanted to send me back because for them, the intensity of what I was going to go through was too much that I may not be able to cope with the challenges I was going through. But I insisted I was going to stay. Along this way, they had to take me through many people who have gone through challenges and come out of it. And I met a girl, a lady, who was born blind. And she's a developer, a software engineer for Apple. And I was shocked. How do you do it? And then went somewhere, I saw a guy who became blind at 6 months. And I was shocked that this guy could operate 3 computers together at a go. Then I started asking questions. saw the power of technology. And all through my studies in this school, it was like I was even better than the ordinary person. I could jog with the head of an app. I could navigate the street because people are thinking, people are solving problems, people are looking at how can I make life better for the other. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the beginning. At the beginning, Adam and Eve were in the garden. They had everything. It was very serene, peaceful. The river called Habiba flows through the garden. It was luscious, the grasses. The animals respected Adam and Eve. The trees were natural. It was so beautiful, a glorious place to behold. You were there, I was there. We were just cells in their bodies. But we were also spirit. Then tragedy struck. Man was driven out of Garden of Eden. And the man was forced to cover his nakedness because for the first time he realized he was naked. And since that time, ladies and gentlemen, man had never stopped inventing. From the chair you sit on, to this light, to the microphone I have, to the table, to this AC, to the curtain. These were not necessarily created by God. They were made by man for the betterment of man and to the glory of God. And so one day we woke up and we saw the guy calling in a mosque saying, you know what? Why should I spend 18 to 23 hours to travel between here and New York? No. Something can be done. And he started looking at the laws that have been created in physics and electrodynamics, as the case may be. And he came up with an idea called Hyperloop. That it must be possible inside a vacuum where there is no time to be able to move within 30 minutes and appear in New York, a journey that will have taken 30 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, as I speak to you, that technology has been tested in the desert of California. And he has been given a license to deploy Hyperloop. Many other things are happening. The Internet of Things. The Internet itself, as I speak to you, I can address the entire world while I speak here. And you know many people are watching this as we speak. Today, it's very easy to set up a television station, a radio station, without having to spend those monstrous amount of money to do so. How? Why? What about 3D printing? The one that is just possible with the aid of, possible to print your car, even my hat. Not with plastic or synthetic material, but with the exact material with which it was made. So the guys who went to Mars recently didn't go with anything. What they did was to go with a 3D printer and the capacity for 3D modeling. Right now, I can print a 3D house, not a diagram, ladies and gentlemen, but the one you live in, with just $3,000. A 3D printed house that respects climate, and you can make use of alternate materials. So we have virtual reality. It's possible for me to carry my child right here. And, you know, mirage of things are happening. What about technology? Many of you are as young as I am. We remember when at a point in time in this station, this country, this state, you would have to go to somewhere in post office to receive a call if you are not that fortunate to be able to, you know, you have night in your house. It was horrible. You have to queue. Even in Lagos, to receive international calls, you have to go to Onikon. Nigerians were poor then, and I don't think we are richer. Yet today, Nigerians spend no less than 335 billion naira on data, on telecommunication every month. I'd like you to open your heart. And this is the reason why I'm saying this. How are these things possible, ladies and gentlemen? It flows from the quantum theory. That's in fact that no problem remains as a state it was created. In fact, the issue and the opportunity challenges bring to us is that the changing perspective of it. So even though some problems were solved yesterday, when you wake up tomorrow, it has metamorphosed and created new opportunities. So there are some people who profit from importing cars yesterday, tomorrow. You cannot do that because with the aid of 3D printer, I have printed my car here. Right now, I can print a garment I see on a store in the UK and print here. That's no wonder almost 6,000 stores closed in America last year. I can imagine what has happened after COVID-19. So we talk Albert Einstein did say that the difference between stupidity and geniusity is because genius is limited. We can only know at once per time. There's no human being that have the capacity to understand everything at a go. So I think you will be happy that it is not done. It is not yet over. Because as the world progresses and changes, it creates us new opportunity to be able to make a fortune, change our fortune, change our nation, bring to reality the things that our parents have worked for. Are you still with me? So what then is creativity? What then is innovation? Because I'm asked to create a link between creativity, innovation, personal development, and social development, and what's the role of government. When we're able to generate ideas, that's creativity. And that is also shifting. A time is coming that just be able to produce a car, just like I've told you now, or import a car, might just be creativity. That is the lowest and the cheapest thing anyone of us can do. And I can tell you, if anybody has come to say we are not creative as youths, it's not true. We are. But what we have lacked is innovation. Because innovation is the ability to transform that creativity positively to be able to make changes. Changes that can impact people. So when we talk about creativity, we talk about scale, people, number. We talk about 10x. How can I do this thing 10 times better than it has been done? With speed. Please take your calculator. 1,000 times 1 million. How much is that? Who is answering, please? 1,000 times 1 million. How much is that? That's 1 billion. That is how cheap it is to raise 1 billion. So if I have 1 million people, and I think Ekiti has 1 million people, who can commit to pay 10,000 naira? I've raised 10 billion. I'm close to raising the capital for a bank. As a matter of fact, I can guarantee the food supply of this country, of this town, of this state, if I can pledge every household in Ekiti to buy from me just 10,000 naira worth of food every month. Give me, I collect a guarantee from the government, and I take it to the multinational institution. It is that cheap and that possible to make changes happen. So we do have examples. So, sorry, before I move away from that, when we talk about innovation, so you are thinking of knowledge. You are thinking of ability to make changes happen. It's a mindset. You may be creative and not be innovative. So the mindset to see number and apply, develop solutions that can apply to a lot of people. That exactly is what innovation is. And it flows from a mindset. Thank you so much. This can be done better. So let's take 2 examples. In 1927, a company called Marriott was founded. It has Marriott Hotel, houses everywhere, and the entire total market value today as we speak is worth maybe $32 billion. In almost 80 years after, a company called Airbnb was founded. As I speak to you, Airbnb has no house anywhere. It has never invested in building any house. Yet it's worth how much? Almost the same value that the company Marriott has always was worth. Should I talk about Kodak? In 1975, an engineer, a small boy, 25-year-old, developed a digital camera in Kodak. But they ignored it. In 1996, the total value of Kodak was about $28 billion with 95,000 employees. But Kodak was not paying attention to the shift in the need for photography. Because people no longer needed photography to hang on the wall, but they want to share it. The social dynamics and need has shifted, flowing from the quantum theory. And I want you to really be happy. Because this is the age of democratization. With the age of technology, you can do almost anything. You do not need to go queue behind anyone to be able to make changes happen. We have one of us here, Adara, who created a pool. In those days, you will have had somebody to certify you, the pool for the last election, and you got an award for it. So, back to Kodak. So, Kodak ignored that. And we woke up one day, other companies have run away with Kodak. And Instagram, who was a photography initiative developed by 13 young people, sold their company in 2012 to Facebook for maybe $1.6 billion. As I speak to you, ladies and gentlemen, that same company that was worth just $1.6 billion is worth $100 billion. This is the power of innovation, of people who follow their heart, their idea, and make it happen. So it's not that, and I know a lot of things that happen in Nigeria. A number of companies have been sold to Google, as the case may be. I may not have very good examples here because of lack of research. Interswitch did buy a company for about 15 billion here in Nigeria. And many companies, overseas are coming down to Nigeria. So the question is not, the issue is not that we do not have, that we are not creative as young people. No. What has been lacking is the critical mass. The critical mass to make a change and create the economic boom and prosperity we need. And so what is responsible for the absence of this critical mass, ladies and gentlemen? Number one is the audacity of hopelessness. I do not intend to plagiarize the audacity of hope by Obama, no. I intend to really talk about the problem that we'll face. An average young person is afraid of what he will eat tomorrow. Where will he get it? Where will he get his job after school? Will his lecturer not fail him in school? How will an NYC be? Everything, not even our young people, including our old people, are afraid. There is no guarantee anywhere. And so when somebody has no cushion against anything, you only basically live to survive. So we live to it. This is very clearly exemplified in the way our public servants steal. Our brothers and sisters, daddies and mothers steal in the civil service or in public government, in private sector. To innovate is a check against tomorrow, meaning I trust in the society and the system that works. So I am able to defer my gratification for another 3, 4, 5 years. How many proposals have we submitted to government quarters here? Only to find out that the back page has been removed and it's the name of a brother or a cousin that is there. Who will do their bidding to give them money? And people come here, please, let's speak to our elders. Let's face the fact. Our elders went to good school, probably mostly scholarship. This was not the Nigeria or the state that was handed over to them. They should, for crying out loud, be humble for once and apologize to us. They have failed us, and that is the truth. Many of them schooled overseas. We expected that even if they cannot make our state better, they should have handed us one that they met. But that is not what they have given us today. So we live in a state of hopelessness. And so the immediacy syndrome has eaten up hope. The Keynesian national income model did say that there cannot be meaningful national income expansion or greatness without investment as opposed to saving or consumption. So how much savings are we really making? So if we must progress and build an innovative economy, government must show leadership. Political class must show decorum. The things that we do not encourage young people. And you see, for every evil that an adult does, you must know that the younger person will almost do times 10 of it. And this is where we have found ourselves. So what next is the problem? The subsistency mindset. Or let me take the absence of vision. A people perish without vision. I should be rounding up, right? A people perish without vision. We know where China is going to. And I don't want to talk about Nigeria. Because oftentimes we have mortgaged our future as Ekiti people or Yoruba people because we want to sound nationalist. We do not have the same pain. No. How many graduates here in Ekiti have no job compared to those in the north? Let's be honest. Our pains are different. And we will not stop going to school. Ladies and gentlemen, we will not stop making the right investment. So, we must ask ourselves, what is our shared vision? We are so lucky as a people that we are homogeneous. We share destiny. What is the vision for us to believe? Thank God for Mr. Governor and this administration. They have come with a 4-year. In the past, we didn't even have anyone. But a 4-year vision cannot sustain a generation and a people. The political class must come together. The essence of party is not to fulfill one's aggrandizement or ego or personal benefit. It is to advance the people. And we, the young people, have to stand up to it. No, it is enough. Our political class must act responsibly. I may be in PDP or APC or whatever. The essence is to serve the people. The essence is to advance destiny and prosperity. It is time to put an end to the cries of our old people who have labored so hard. The day my child came out of school, and then he's out of school, there's nothing to point out to. I'm not happy about that, and I know you are not happy. In fact, if there's any reason you are here, maybe that's one of the reasons. And I thank Mr. Commissioner who is making this happen. So, now, you see, as I speak to you, China has a textbook for all its school students. To study artificial intelligence is compulsory. What are we studying? Where are we going to? And this flows to I will soon be around now. Let's talk about our educational system. Does the town matches the gown? No. If anybody is learning physics in school and he cannot tie his physics, immediately step out of the class to the environment, it's of no use. Let's be practical. This generation is dying away. If the national curriculum does not meet our need, let's drop it. Because if we say we are going to the moon, then we must start teaching in the classroom the education that is required to go to the moon. I was on Wall Street when we were sent out to go look for a problem to solve. And I did suggest that because I saw people carrying their phone up and down and try to walk, very busy Wall Street. Young people, smart suited. And something just dawned on me. How is it possible that you can charge your airtime on the go, and it's not possible to charge your battery on the go? And I did say, why was it not possible? And, one of my colleagues, or most of my colleagues who are engineers, say, Shegun, you have started. You're crazy. It's not going to happen. Sorry, I tried to speak like you, but they work for me. So, in a nutshell, last year or this year, that technology is tested in New Zealand, where it is possible not to just charge your phone, but to generate power here and transfer wirelessly, remotely to another destination. And so this is done by converting it to microwave, and when it gets to that place, it's converted back to power, and you can use it. These are the great things people are doing. So our education has to be experimental, experiential. It has to feed from the community where we are. It has to relate. It has to be sincere. There's no point going to school. What is the school use of a BSc now? Please, I ask. And our young people are dying in desert in Libya. And people are running up and down. Even our educated people are running out. Our education almost has no value. I work in a financial institution for many years. I mean, where do you even start discovering the challenges of this country? Most of the things, the reason why our capital stock market is not growing, it's not far-fetched. It's simply because of the absence of integrity. Most of those financials are not reliable. That's why people have not gotten anything from their investment over time. And you are asking, you white people or foreigners have brought their capital here and have really gotten anything back, except they play our game. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the challenges are enormous. And we can continue to talk about them. What about absence of collaborative economy? Where I mentioned a part of it. Thomas Edison alone could not have developed the entire technology needed to build electricity. He had to rely on people. And if those people are not sure they are going to get a fair share of their part in whatever Thomas did, they will not. Here it is lacking. we find it difficult to come together and partner. And be assured that if 1 million of us work towards a project, we are going to get an equitable share of it. You know more than I do, and so I'm not here to school, just to point our attention to this. So if the government really wants to do, which I am happy they want to do, we have to look into creating a collaborative economy. How is it possible that I trust that if I join my brother, join my sister, there is a system that guarantees that each of us have an equitable share? Will the law work? Will our leaders walk their talk? What can we do together? So the mindset is important, ladies and gentlemen. The infrastructures are critical as well. But even with that absence of mindset, if you bring all the internet here, it will not work. And one thing I'd like you to know is we focus too much on ourselves. Me, and me, and me. It is me versus our community. A nation that prospers is a nation where a huge majority of people think of the community. In fact, where are you going to get such wealth really? If not stolen, like Mark Zuckerberg, if you don't invest and try to solve problems that affect a lot of people. See, a 1,000 naira that comes every month from 1 million people is 1 billion, sir. It's better than 10 billion that comes today. You can't find in the next 10, 20 years. Sorry, I know I should be rounding up. So we must create those things. And I'm happy this administration is showing that direction. They're investing in the critical sector. We must collaborate and work together. For me, I make up my mind. That's one of the reasons why I came back home, to help build. So I had a foundation called Bridgewaters Foundation. Our goal is that within the next 5-7 years to train no less than 10,000 youths. Because I'm in the press, this might go to the press, but you can be sure my heart is here. Not just in training, but to make sure you have young people have exposure and deep training in artificial intelligence, blockchain, robotics, Internet of Things. Those premium exponential technology can affect. It's a shame that people still go to farm and carry load on their head and still wait on the road. When with the aid of a drone, you can plot your coordinate and it brings that thing down here. Almost everything here was taught by most likely you. And then we complain that we don't have money when the little amount of money we have is what we see sent to them. We will always be poorer than them if we don't change the equation. Am I making some sense? Hello, sirs. You're very quiet. I hope I've not been talking to myself. So we are working to see that. In fact, we are starting our Automate Ekiti Fellowship. And I'm glad the commissioner is here. And I hope this gets to the red quarters as well. We're seeking for partnership. We actually got started at robotics training right now. And their goal is not just to give you that skill, but to make sure that we partner with agencies of the government, community, and look for strategic problems and get our young people to use those technology skills, exponential skills, and even problem skills to solve this problem, develop them. When they create value, we turn them to businesses. We raise capital. So we hope to launch a startup innovation fund. And start entrepreneurship challenge. It doesn't have to be on our name. It can be on the government's name. And we all work together and create a startup village. Innovation labs across states in pockets where it is easier for a young person to access the technology and the needed resources to be able to collaborate and make things work. So, on a final note, ladies and gentlemen, it is easy to ship all of this in the hand and feet of the government. But we also have responsibility. We have work to do, and we have to do it. There's a hot water. When you throw egg in that hot water, the egg comes out boiled and stuck. But in that same hot water, when you throw the tea bag into it, the Lipton, the one you know, what happens to it? What happens to it? It dissolves. It changes the color of the water. There's a choice. It's a mindset. I could have chickened out of school. I could have given up. If, as a matter of loan, I took a loan of $145,000. That loan was reaching up about a month ago, $145,000. The greatest animal in the forest is what? Lion. But is it the fastest? The smartest? the most powerful? No. It's not the slowest. It's not the biggest. It's not the tallest. It's not the shortest. It's not the beautiful. Yet, it's the most powerful animal in the forest. Why? Why? Brilliant people. It has courage. It has courage. Excellence, intelligence is nothing in the absence of courage. It takes courage, boldness to get at your future, to even start an idea you believe in and go for that and say, in spite of the challenges, I will stand up. I will make story. Let's think beyond just eating or our community. Let's think global. Can we raise 5 global institutions and companies from Ekiti in the next 5, 10 years? I say it's possible. Can we lead innovation in Africa? I say it's possible. Can we develop that bank, that site, that place, that city where everybody across Nigeria is running to because they know there's an ecosystem? You will meet young people who are thinking to take over the world. I say it's possible. So this is what I see on my final note. And it's from the story of Shenzhen. 40 years ago, Shenzhen was a city of about 30,000, a village, a fishing village of about 30,000 people. They were very poor. Fast forward it to today. Shenzhen has about 12 million people. And that is bigger than oil. I hope you know that London, America, France, by 2030, they will no longer use oil. I mean, fossil oil. Electricity car will have taken over. What happens, ladies and gentlemen, when those things are no longer, what are we going to be feeding on? This is a time to think and do something about it. So, Shenzhen today produce no less than 90% of the latest technology and electronics. Its GDP is 300 billion. A city that was just 40,000 people. For every 12 for every one person, there's a business. And I'm not talking of doing ajire. Please, excuse me, that is not innovation. Someone should be thinking, I like training tailors, that's good. But is it possible for me to develop an app, a solution that once I put in my face, it can take my measurement and I don't need to go visit a tailor? And that these are things that can change the nation. We complain today about what's it called, that in political term, that we want federalism, I've forgotten the name now. Sir, we don't need to apply to CBN. We can create our own CBN with our phone and create a legal tender that's accepted here in Ekiti and create our own CBN. You know the number of jobs that will be created, data analysts, economists, and we are not fighting Naira. Yet, it is possible and acceptable with the age of that technology that we settle, we make payment, we exchange trade here in Ekiti. It's possible. And so, I see beyond this. And I hope you share that dream with me. It's been a pleasure talking to you. My name is Shegun. Okay, thank you.